Lately, I've been binge listening to Pete Quinones, and he's been hammering this point home that resonates with me so powerfully, that libertarianism and traditional conservatism just aren't cutting it anymore. And when faced with the real world, their proposals simply don't work and are unrealistic fantasies, as well as the fact that when the crap hits the fan and the nation faces whatever crisis it may be, the nation never turns to libertarianism for the answers. There is a demand for good governance rather than no governance at all. To have this outdated philosophy of having a government that leaves you alone is nothing more than wishful thinking. It's at the same level of reality as if I thought Heidi Klum not only knows who I am, but wants to be with me more than anything in the world. That she despises her family and her only desire is to leave them and come be with me. Well, that's obvious fantasy, right? Well, so is Ann Capistan. I think a lot of us on the right have been going through similar gut checks as well, to realize that everything has basically been a psyop since 1945. The last 3 years have been a wake-up call for sure. As everything seems to speed up like it does when something is circling the drain, now that we're at the end point, we can look back and see that we have been focused on the wrong stuff the whole time. Ben Shapiro arguing with people on college campuses, or when we argue with people on Facebook and Twitter, or the conservative obsession with Middle Eastern threats, whatever it is, these activities have been a complete waste of time. And the left has been happy for us to bicker away at meaningless distractions, while they have focused 100% of their energies on what amounts to domestic terrorism against our country. What Pete has been saying, and what I've been realizing as well, is that in the end, there's only power. It's just reality. Our hypotheticals, our utopian visions, our purity spirals, the Constitution, exposing the lies and the hypocrisy of the left. At the end of the day, these are no match for how power actually functions in the real world. And how sad is it that we've wasted so much precious time and energy promoting the wrong things? I think most conservatives wrongly have adopted basic libertarian notions as well as liberal notions, and think of how much that has allowed the left to destroy this country. And think of the attitude changes we have to do in people on our own side to rebuild anything that would prove to be effective against the system that we face now. Once you take on a purely pragmatic approach to politics, almost every mainstream right talking point falls apart right in front of you. For myself, I'm addicted to watching the mainstream right and just marveling at how wrong they are. To listen to a Daily Wire backstage is hilarious because of how insane it all is. To listen to the Dana Lash Show cracks me up. To listen to the people on the Five or Mark Levin or Sean Hannity or Tim Pool or Steven Crowder or Dennis Prager. Doesn't matter. Insert name here. It's all the same. Everyone on the mainstream right has it all wrong because their understanding of how power actually works is severely flawed. And I know I sound so conceited, like I'm sitting above the world and looking down at the idiots, but it's kind of true though. They have handicapped themselves by internalizing the left's framework for what is acceptable to talk about and do and what is not. The mainstream right has to run through an obstacle course that it sets up against itself. They could just run in a straight line right to power, but instead they have to play nice. Can they talk about the small hat Jays and the massive influence and control they have? Nope, we gotta run around that massive obstacle. Can we address black crime and culture? No, we have to run around that one too. Can we enact rules and policies that limit the destructive behaviors of people and corporations for the betterment of the country so we don't fall off the cliff? No, that's fascism, and the Nazis did that, and actually, the Democrats are the real fascists. And so that becomes another path that we have to find a way around. Every solution has become taboo and off limits. And in the meantime, the left just ran in a straight line to power. Seeing the mainstream right make the points they do and uselessly flounder about is like having a telescope and looking at the deck of the Titanic. It's a myopic scene where there's people running around, rearranging all the sliding furniture, helpless to control what's happening. But one thing is very clear though, and it's the belief that if they can successfully get the furniture to stay put, then the crisis will stop. The crash will stop. Whatever mysterious force seems to be enacting its will on us will stop. Our society will go back to the way it should be. Now, this is a bottom-up philosophy. Politics is downstream of culture, as Andrew Breitbart liked to say. This saying has become the North Star for Daily Wire. But this is like saying icebergs are downstream of sliding deck furniture. They have it completely backwards. The dissident right perspective is like backing away from the telescope and looking at the Titanic with your natural vision. You see what's actually happening and why it's happening that way, and you can see the futility of everyone on that deck. And suddenly you see that something like the Colin Kaepernick story is just another sliding chair across the deck that we shouldn't care about. Seeing thousands of people chase it around and try to stop it now seems completely pointless in the context of your new, bigger, and more pragmatic perspective. From the time I've started this channel, I have avoided talking about current events. Just simply from a logistical perspective, I can't make videos fast enough to keep up with the news cycle. And so I've told myself this channel would primarily be a big picture channel. That's not to say I don't bring up some current stuff, but if you notice, most often I only use it as an example of a larger point that I'd like to make. The more time goes on, the more we're exposed to countless stories. Trying to keep up with current events seems pointless to me, because every event is entirely predictable. The left picks the stupidest possible position to have on it. The right has the correct take, but since we don't control anything and we don't have the balls to do the taboo solution, everything slides into oblivion because we're all forced to go along with what the left wants, whether we like it or not. And you can apply this recipe to any event at any time, anywhere in the world, and it will play out exactly like that. And so to get into the minutiae or to parse through the particulars of any event is pointless. We have the truth on our side, and so we will be in the right no matter what the story is. And since they control how that story is presented to us, and they don't have the truth on their side, they lie and lie and lie. So no matter what the story is, keeping up with current events becomes a big research project where you have to go and see for yourself if what they're telling you is true or not. And every single time, it turns out to be a lie. And this is why I created my opposite day theory. Just pick the complete opposite outcome of any given story, and that will be the actual truth. Because from experience, that's what's always happened. It's happened a million times now, and I've lost my appetite for trying to keep up. My big picture automatically corrects the story for me. So this is why I always try to approach an issue with the bigger picture in mind. That's the important one. It's the one that matters, the one that has the most explanatory and predictive power. It eliminates the need to even follow politics day to day. Starting a grassroots movement to vote for certain candidates seems pointless. Pointing out hypocrisy on the left? Pointless. Making videos to correct the lies told by the media? Pointless. Trying to debate people online? Pointless. These are the things that the system is happy for you to do. They love it. When you're trying to sink a ship, there is nothing you love more than seeing people on the deck of the ship trying to rearrange the furniture. It means you're winning. Just food for thought. Anyways, if you like this video and type of content I'm making, consider giving this video a like or maybe subscribing. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.